So to round out this shit tier year, we will be going over, as we always do, everything we saw this year.
Yes, we will. Who wants to start with Bad Boys for Life? Only the guy who's seen it? All right, bet. I'll go in. Bad Boys for Life is actually a really fun action comedy movie. I watched the trilogy 3, 1, 2, and I would rate them 1, 3, 2 from best to worst. And yeah, this movie's a fun time. Has a weird retcon when you watch the first one because it says like 23 years ago I had a kid, but he definitely didn't because 23 years ago the first one came out and he didn't. But whatever. It's cool. Good movie. Solid time. I'll give it an 8.
Next up, The Gentleman with Matthew McConaughey.
We've all seen this
We've
one.
all seen this one.
We're all very different on it. I really like this movie. It's fun as fuck.
I enjoyed it quite a bit.
It's kind of bad.
So I would probably, I don't know. It's tough to rate out of 10 because I haven't seen it in almost a year. But
Well, I want to soapbox a little bit about this one.
Go ahead.
Again, movie, not really my style. But the reason that it is bad, it's overbearing. This movie is overbearingly annoying for me. Hugh Grant is terrible. Aquaphile, terrible. The pedophile teacher from Deadpool 2, terrible. There's a lot of really bad performances in this movie, and it's just the Guy Ritchie style, but 2 times a billion, and I hate it.
But I love the Guy Ritchie style, so it's fine with me.
It's very hit or miss for me. The Sherlock movies, I really like both of them, but this movie's kind of bad. I like the aesthetic. I like what they wear.
Oh my god, the aesthetic.
And I like, Charlie Hunnam's not even awful in this movie. He's fine. But at the end of the day, it's just super underwhelming for me and not really my style.
I think this movie was actually really well done. I appreciate the directing style and all those creative choices that made Ian go angry, which, it's a subjective thing whether you like the style or not. But it worked for me and it worked for Mud.
Yeah, it was on my list, so
like
4.
I'd give
it maybe like a 6 or 7. Blast Full Measure. Only I've seen this one.
That's the one that looked bad.
It looked pretty bad. Here's the thing. So I watched this movie and the marketing makes it look like it's this awesome, cool war movie, but it has like dramatic elements in it, obviously, like, after the war and stuff. And it does, but it also doesn't. The problem is so very little of this movie is about the war. Most of this movie is about getting a person who was in the war a Purple Heart. That's it. It's like litigation. It's like, oh, I have to go here and talk to this guy to do this thing. Hey, this guy deserves it a lot. Hey, I have to do this. So much of the movie is just painstakingly the least interesting parts of this story. And it's its own story, which is really annoying for me. So, yeah, I gave it like a fucking 2 or 3.
The reason I didn't watch this is because I watched The Report a couple weeks before the week before I saw the trailer for this movie. I'm like, this looks like The Report, but bad.
I'm glad you guys dodged this bullet. Up next, Birds of Prey. We have a big review of it, so we'll keep it short as always.
Birds of Prey sucks.
It did
I
suck.
liked it.
Mud liked it. What'd you like about it?
The style.
All right, we didn't. All right, next.
It's like Suicide Squad, but a little bit better, but still not good.
I agree. Out of 10, Birds of Prey.
Like a 6.
Like a 3.
Probably like a 2.
Oh, The Night Clerk. This one's me and Ian. Holy shit, this movie sucked.
Like we said, the only redeeming thing is Ana de Armas' titties. That's not redeeming. That's not in the movie. She's just attractive.
That's just us being gross dudes.
She's just attractive.
The story sucks. The script sucks. The acting sucks. I'm pretty sure, I can't even recall, but I'm pretty sure there's like logic leaps at the end of the film to make the climax happen.
Oh yeah, it's like a 2.
Oh, it's a 0.
It's like a 2.
All right, bet. 365 days.
That's 1 year.
Which in their original title is 365 Denis, which is really funny. It's a 50 Shades style softcore that came out on Netflix. Except I've seen 50 Shades. This is actually, the story is a significantly bit better than 50 Shades. But
wow, low bar.
Yeah, my girlfriend and I watched it, and it worked on that level. So 10. Next.
Sonic the Hedgehog.
This movie's for kids, but I'm not a kid, so it's bad.
I don't like Sonic the Hedgehog.
I love the games. I like some of the games. Most of them are shit. But like me, the most invested in the character, no, absolutely not. The opening of the movie is just made up. There's no character like that. That's not how any of this happened. All of it is for. This is what they do in video game movies. They go, oh, the thing you like, nah. Let's do this.
Yeah, no, I did not like Sonic very much at all.
Sonic.
I hate the concept of bringing things to the real world or bringing the real world to the thing. Just make the thing in the world.
Yeah.
Make
What
the
the
world
fuck?
of the video game that's very fleshed out because it's existed for years.
do Pokemon and blend the real and the fantasy.
Yep.
Which is really cool.
Yep.
But
Again, just being the world that the game is set in.
Yep.
Yeah.
Sonic the Hedgehog, more like 3.
Got him.
One.
Whatever I gave it, I think a 3.
You know what? Yeah, I'll just stick with that. I think I gave it a 3.
Oh my god, we soapbox about Call of Wild 0.
0.
0.
We already talked about it a lot. Invisible
Man, 9.
9.
9.
We've all talked about how
Go
great
watch
it
our
is.
Invisible Man review.
Yep.
Guns Akimbo 10, he dual wields.
He does dual wield.
he
So therefore
dual wields by force.
the whole time is dual wielding, actually.
Me who hasn't seen the movie, me who knows what Akimbo means.
Mud, who has seen it, and I. Yeah, this movie is actually really good.
It's fun.
It kind of falls apart.
Oh,
towards
it
the end.
absolutely falls apart.
I was kind of being generous, but yeah, it
No.
definitely falls apart towards the end. Yeah,
It's
but
barely held together. It's
I'd
just
say
pure style.
most of this movie really works and hits. I'd give it like a 6 or a 7.
Yeah, I'd give it a 5 or a 6. It's pure style, no substance, and it works.
Are we doing just scores for Onward?
Onward,
8?
9.
9.
That was a great movie. The Way Back. Only I've seen this one. Now, so
This is real life.
it's really jarring to see Ben Affleck play a character who has rampant alcoholism when you know anything about Ben Affleck in the past like 2 or 3 years. It's a weird casting choice. I don't know who instigated this movie. If like someone brought the script to him, that would be really insulting if they brought the fucking script to him.
Hey,
They were
Ben, this really fits you.
like, yeah, you feel well cast for this. I'd punch him in the goddamn face. No, so it's weird seeing that, and the movie is like a kind of drama story about him getting over alcoholism, but that ending is sharply contrasted by the fact that Ben is, I'll leave it at that. But the ending doesn't really fit because of what we know about real life. So yeah.
Oh, only I've seen
Oh, I'm
Spencer
sorry.
Confidential.
2.
Only I've seen Spencer Confidential. There's 3 videos of me ranting about how bad it is. Cringy. 0.
The Banker, Mud.
I saw that. Very well acted. Sam Jackson, Anthony Mackie, and Beast from the X-Men movies. whose
Nick
name is-
Holt.
Nick Holt. Nick
He's
Holt.
one of my favorite actors of all time.
Yeah, he's great. Movie's pretty good.
I
It was on my top 10 of the halfway point. Very gripping, good, true to life story. 9 out of 10.
well, time for a much better movie, Bloodshot.
We've like maybe a 2.
Maybe a 2 as well.
It's pretty fucking bad.
2
don't
just for
know,
the
whatever
action scenes.
It's fucking 0.
I didn't mind most of the action scenes.
Big Time Adolescence. Did you guys watch this one? Do
I
I
did
get to
not.
talk about this one?
You get to talk about that.
Yeah, baby! Fucking, this movie is so fucking funny. It's Pete Davidson being an irredeemable asshole, but again. But this time he's convincing a child to also be an irredeemable asshole, and it works. He dates his sister when he's young and like hangs out with him, and he's like 9 years older than the kid.
Mud, it sounds like you'd hate this movie.
No, it's actually really funny. And the kid goes, yeah, this guy's awful, and like slowly loses his influence from him. It's really interesting and really good. It's just about how influence can like kind of fuck with you. And if you hang around the wrong people, you're going to be doing the wrong things. And it's really good messages. It's kind of like Staten Island in a way. I think it's like a 7 or an 8.
Nice.
Yeah.
Resistance.
I saw this. It's based on Marcel Marceau, the famous mime, and the work he did during World War II as a member of the French Resistance.
Nice.
Interesting concept. Not an interesting movie.
Jesse Eisenberg, right?
Jesse Eisenberg kills it in the role. He has some good acting where he kind of just
He's really good.
He's got a couple good monologues. But this movie overall is very boring. 6.
Okay. The Platform, we all saw this. We all reviewed it as well.
Great movie.
Great movie.
Then it ends.
Then it ends.
Great movie, then it ends. But I think I might have liked it the most out of all of us. I liked this movie a lot. It was
I
on
would
my
like
top
it.
10 list for a while.
I'd give it a 9.
Just eked off my top 10. I'd give it an 8.
I also give it an 8. The end really... I just want to know. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
You just
Yeah.
want to know what happens. Do they accept it? Do they throw it down? Like,
I'd love if they threw it down.
Because it is human.
It is
so...
a child.
because if they know that what's happening down there is like that, I want to know their reaction. That's the thing of the movie. That's like the big culminating point for me is how do the people up top deal with it?
Yeah.
Do they ignore it like they've ignored everything else?
Yeah.
Or do they do something about it and that doesn't get solved?
It's unclear if anything matters.
Yep.
Which is
Yeah.
kind of frustrating.
Yep.
That's
so-
why it's an 8.
Yep.
Yeah, Vivarium. Mud and I. This movie was
Isn't
actually...
that where you keep butterflies?
That's
Yeah.
the
Okay.
point. That's why it's called that. This movie is actually really good. It's really freaky, and I love the style and everything that they explore in the
It's
movie and
super
stuff like
trippy.
that. It's super trippy. There are some sequences that are like straight
Downright unsettling.
unsettling. They feel like they're out of that Willy Wonka scene with the boat, but in this movie. And then you get some really actually like I'd say brilliant character work with Jesse Eisenberg and his hole he keeps digging.
Oh yeah.
Oh my god, his futile efforts. Oh, so it speaks a lot about the movie when you think about it like that.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, I'd give it a fucking 9.
9.
Yeah, I fucking
Fuck
love
yeah,
movie.
this movie's great.
Yeah, it is. Coffee and Kareem.
Dude, 0. I don't want to talk about it more. It's fucking awful, forgettable comedy garbage. Comedy is used lightly because the only time I laughed at this movie was at my phone when I was talking shit about it.
That Extraction. That's Mud and I.
Yeah.
No, I've
Idiot.
seen Extraction.
You
It's
have?
bad.
It's very bad.
Yeah, there's
yeah.
a 10-minute long take. That's the good part. That's all you need.
Arguably not even the good part. I didn't care about it because the rest of the movie was shit.
No,
I'm
I
more on
disagree,
Ian's
though.
side. I'm more on Ian's side.
I think
Artistically, it's the good
yes,
part.
no, cinematically, yes. However, this movie feels like a video game cutscene, but like a really bad video game cutscene.
It's so like very cookie cutter because everything that
video game
that the
cutscene.
main character Tyler Rake says feels ripped from every. Yes, that is his real God-given name,
There's
Tyler
also
Rake.
the scene where he breaks the kid out and he just haymakers the fuck out of some people, John Wick style. That was good.
That was a.
Action good, everything else bad.
Action mid, everything else bad.
I would say 2 out of 10.
I'd say like 3. It's not that bad, but it's just boring. It's
I'd also
just
match
cookie
a
cutter.
3.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's not offensive, but it's just not anything.
It's not there.
Bad education.
Good education. Good
Fucking
movie.
slap
All
in
right,
education.
education. It was
Shut
pretty
up.
decent.
Fucking 9 out of 10. Second favorite movie of the year.
9 out of 10 was my favorite film of the year for a long time.
7 out of 10. I don't think it ever made my list actually. If it
did.
did, it was number 10.
Yeah, it was.
Objectively incorrect.
Yep.
All Day and a Night.
I
Ian?
watched this. I don't remember any of this.
Jake,
movie.
you said you watched it.
I did watch it.
He did.
Um,
Do you remember any of it?
I yes.
I
yes,
liked it more than you, and I remember really none of it.
I know. I remember we talked about it.
It's
no,
very
What?
slow pace. I liked it more than he did. and I barely
actually,
remember it.
building off your point there, it starts out awesome
Yeah.
with this him breaking into the house with the guns. He's gonna kill everybody, and it's
But that's
this,
the end of the
this
movie. I
hu-
hate when people start the beginning of the movie with the end
Yep.
of the movie.
Everything after that point is pretty boring and
Yeah.
forgettable, and Jeffrey Wright carries it.
Oh, 100%. He's so good.
He's like the shining light of this
Yep.
movie for me, but it's not a good movie.
I'd say it's a mid. I'd say it's a 5 because I wasn't offended, but at the same time, it's just very poorly paced.
I would go slightly lower at 4, honestly. I was really underwhelmed. The Wretched.
I saw that.
I saw that as well in a drive-in theater. It fucking slapped.
It does slap.
It is the one of the best horror movies this year.
Yeah, I
So-
agree with that. It's a really good blend of like a coming of age teen drama and a horror film, and the
It
script
is.
is airtight.
And you know what? It's a great movie aside from that twist, but then that twist,
The twist makes the movie.
it makes the movie. It puts the bow on top. It
it's
enhances
like,
it.
It's like you will remember me.
You're goddamn right.
9
it's
out
so
of 10.
good. 9 out of 10. Valley Girl. I didn't watch this shit.
I watched it.
It's shit.
It's Jesus Christ. It's awful.
Have you seen the Nick Cage one from the 80s?
No.
Yes.
I
So,
have.
Let me fucking tell you, it's a jukebox musical, and it's all like bad. It's all bad. The music just sucks. Like they do a slowed down version of "We're the Kids of America." It's like, wow, this is terrible. One of the Paul brothers is in it.
Jake or Logan?
I don't fucking remember, but he's like the tennis champion who's dating the main girl, and he sucks.
I'm googling it.
Might have been Logan.
It feels like a Paul movie.
Jake Paul, Logan Paul, dual role.
It ends with like those fake like "Where are they now" cards.
Oh, I
Ew.
hate
Yeah,
that
it's like
shit.
these are not real people.
Do you remember at the end of Boys in the Hood and it does like the little thing, but it's like earned?
But it's earned.
Yeah.
They're relevant characters. This sucks. I hated it. The entire time I was watching it. Oh, here's the best part. It flashes back to the 80s, and it has that aesthetic of, hey, do you remember the 80s? You liked the 80s. Let's talk about the 80s. Like, that's it. Fucking 0 out of 10 piece of shit. Oh, here's the best part.
It is Logan Paul, by
Yeah,
the way. I just
Logan
wanna throw that
Paul.
out
Here's
there.
the best
Googled it.
part. Here's the best part. It's like her falling in love with this greaser guy. And he is very clearly... So the whole film's a flashback. Because it's the mom who the main character is talking to her daughter. Because her daughter just broke up with her boyfriend. And like they're talking about how she fell in love with this greaser. And she was a valley girl. You know, that's the movie.
Haha.
But then the movie, like, very clearly from the beginning, you're like, this greaser is not this girl's father. And then at the end, she's like, so what happened to him? And she's like, oh, we grew apart. I'm like, fuck you.
Oh, it was a waste of time. Got it.
Speaking of waste of time, you gave it a 0. Let's move on. Capone. This movie, I think only I saw.
Yeah.
Yeah, only in the whole world. It's
Tom Hardy, right?
Only men who've seen it. Yep. Tom Hardy is Capone. It focuses on a different aspect of Capone's life. The
Isn't
end.
it him in prison dying of dementia?
In his own mansion house, but also as a prisoner, dying of dementia, yes. And I wish it leaned a little further into the premise, because it's mainly cookie cutter until like the last like 30 minutes, which is really interesting the way it does that. But most of this movie is not as engaging as I thought it would be. So I'd give it probably a 6 or 7. I think it's a decent movie. It could have been fantastic, though, had they done a little bit differently stuff.
That's
Also, it's Fantastic Four director, as you guys pointed out.
Josh Trank.
This is, oh my god, what a fucking, so glad he's come back from that shit. So yeah. Scoob, we've all seen.
Scoob.
I did not watch Scoob.
Oh, you didn't?
I saw.
Oh, Mud and I watched Scoob.
It's more of a Hanna-Barbera film.
It is.
Just in general. Like,
It
it
is.
references a lot of Hanna-Barbera content.
References, they got the characters in there.
They got, yeah, you're right.
I feel like they're trying to cinematic universe it instead of trying to make it a Scoob movie.
Yeah, you're right. Scooby is obviously the most well-known property at this point.
Yep.
So they market off that.
Yeah.
They played Bombs Over Baghdad for no reason at one point in the film, which was fucking hilarious.
Doesn't feel like a very Scooby-Doo song, but go off,
That's
I guess.
very politically charged. Oh my god.
Yeah, the Outcasts, like, they don't play the whole thing, and it's like not even like a political thing. Like the rocket ship's just moving really fast, so they have the fast drum beat. But you hear the lyrics too, and I'm like, I was watching, I'm like, is that Bombs Over Baghdad by Outkast?
It's fucking wild.
Yeah. 6?
Maybe 7.
6.
Oh, I was looking at Ian. And I keep thinking you've seen it. You haven't
10.
seen it.
No,
Ian
no.
gives it a 10. Lovebirds.
Oh my god.
I did not.
So mad. You guys, it's like a rom-com kinda, except they hate each other, but then they learn to love each other because they're in fear of dying because the car and the trailer and they beep beep. It's really bad.
Did she take the bacon grease?
No.
Banking grain.
She took the horse?
No, she didn't take the horse either. They escaped.
Okay, good
And
for
then
them.
they go to the next place and they break into a place. Or was that before?
0.
Fuck,
Moving
0.
on.
Yeah.
0. All right. The Vast of Night. Only I've seen this. It is on Amazon. Thank God it's free. It's worth free. It is a really great premise that. So they squander it, and here's why. Because
What's the premise?
the premise is that this town is concerned that aliens are invading. It starts with like just 2 or 3 people that detect something, and then they discover more people having events like this similarly from past, and this is the time where it's actually happening, and it's like a mystery, and it culminates in a really interesting way. However, most of this movie is a character saying exposition to another character.
I love that.
Like maybe 70% of the movie is just people talking about things that happen to them. And related to the alien plot, of course, but it's just expositing and expositing and expositing. You don't show any of it. It's just tell. And it's so frustrating to see a movie done that way. And it pays homage to The Twilight Zone, which is like one of my top 10 all-time shows.
The monsters are due on Maple Street.
Yup,
which is
very
one of my
similar to that.
Favorite episodes of that show.
It's such
That's
a
a
good
good one.
Yeah, it's a good one. It does a lot of that. It has like a little intro and outro similar to Rod Serling style, and I appreciate the elements here. But fuck, show don't tell. So on that level, Jesus Christ, like a 1 or a 2. It could have been great. Oh well.
Shirley! I watched this one. Only I watched this one. Where do I start with this one? The question
Probably
I have. Not
Shirley.
because there's a lot to talk about, but because I don't fucking remember it.
Is
So-
it about Shirley Temple?
No.
Oh.
It is one of those fake
Okay.
story films that has a real life person in it. So I watched it for the top 10 of the year because I was like, ooh, this has got great reviews. Yeah, I don't fucking remember a goddamn thing about this movie.
Mud said Shirley, and the only Shirley I knew is Shirley Temple. This man goes, no, Shirley Jackson. And my dumbass is like, who the fuck?
That's fine. Yeah, no, it's a fictional story that has a real life person as the supporting cast. I think her husband was cheating on her. That's everything I remember about the film.
All right.
Like it too.
Like it too. Cool.
Sure.
It is time for not Shirley, but Becky. You guys have seen.
Yeah! Fuck
Becky
yeah.
is so violent.
It's so fun.
It's so fun. There's also that really good shot with the woods.
Oh yeah,
where
we
they
already
do the
talked
side
about
shot.
that though.
Yeah. Kevin James is a Nazi. That's all you need to know. Like an 8.
Yeah, you want to watch a preteen girl kill neo-Nazis, reverse Home Alone rated R style?
8.
8.
Bet. All right. We got Artemis Fowl.
0.
All right. We got the 5 Bloods.
8.
8.
Maybe a 9 actually. I really like
no,
this
I
movie.
thought this movie was a little long.
I'd go 8. I'd go
I
conservative
really
with that.
like it.
And King of Staten Island. All right. So we've already talked a lot about it during our top 10 favorites of the
It's
year.
very funny and worth
So
watching.
far,
Yeah.
It's
well.
so fantastic in every way. I'd probably give it a 9.
I'd also say 9.
I'd give it like an 8.
Infamous.
I wasn't too down on it.
Already got into Infamous, but I'll get into it briefly again. Bella Thorne streams bank robberies, and somehow they're viral, and also she doesn't really learn anything, and it's a train wreck of a movie. So like 1 or 0, probably 0 actually. Aqua Slash. I saw this in a drive-in, dude.
I thought this
let
was
me-
a fake title.
No. Let me fucking get into
Is this a
Aqua
sequel
Slash.
to-
No. This is you guys need to. So this whole movie is straight up dog shit. It's terrible. It's like the worst thing ever. It's like a murder teen thing. Like, oh no, someone's killing the
Does
teenagers.
it happen near water?
We'll get there. So it's there's slashing, all kinds of slashing. Not a lot of Aqua. Towards the end of the movie, the villain of the movie set up a trap to kill teenagers. So it's at a water park. And this is worth the context here. It's total, I promise. So
Okay.
they go to the top of this water. It's like a tube, right? They slide out the other end. It's like Six Flags, right? And the teenagers one by one start going through the tube. And only when the main character realizes what's happening, she says no or whatever. It shows the inside of this tube is an X of like blades. So they get diced into 4 sections and they come out in 4 chunks. And
Why
then
would they go to the water park in the horror movie?
let me explain. So the first
How
person.
fast do you got to be going to have that happen to you
Right?
physically?
So apparently there's no communication between the bottom person and the top person on these slides, which isn't real life at all. But they don't communicate. So there's like 10 fucking people at the top of this tower. They go in, another one diced into 4 sections of human, plus the arms wiggling around, flying in the air. It's hilarious. And then the fucking icing on the cake, because the main character is trying to run up the stairs to stop the ride, obviously, before more people die. You got a tube with like 5 dudes in it. And there's like this big like raft, and they all go down the tube together, and you just see the slow-mo scene of shink, 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 shink as they all get fucking diced into like dozens of parts. It's the fucking funniest shit, and it's played serious, as if this is like the most horrifying movie of all time. And it's just oh my god, Lily and I were fucking laughing. It was so good.
So it's a 10, right?
On that level, maybe.
So why did they go to the water park?
Because they're teenagers, they like to go to a water park, maybe.
But it's a horror movie, so what's the
They don't
setup
know
here?
they're in the fucking horror movie. Dude, that doesn't matter.
Who cares?
This is
Yeah,
a
thank
story.
you, Mud. Prior to this point does not matter. This point matters. So,
Okay.
10 on that level.
0 on every other level.
Pretty much. WASP network.
Yeah, I saw this. It's about smuggling people from Cuba to America. It's pretty interesting up until that point. And then like halfway through it, they changed the plot to be they're all Cuban spies. And I think it might be based on true story, but it's confusing. It's like, wait, are you all not like pro-Cuban revolution? You're all spies? Am I understanding this correctly? I don't know. It's on Netflix. 3.
All right. Eurovision Song Contest, The Story of Fire Saga. This movie is spectacular. I already kind of talked about it and sucked its cock a little bit in the other video, but I'll do a little bit here. It's so fucking good. It's so fucking funny. Anything you want out of a movie, you'll pretty much get it here. Gothic horror. It's really fucking funny. I really appreciate everything they did with the concept and the premise. It really does parody the what is it? The ABBA type European pop music culture.
Eurovision?
Yeah. Well, that's the contest, not the concept. But it parodies that culture and style of song so well on like 5 or 6 different aspects and genres of music that usually come out of that.
Yep.
And they parody each one, and they kind of hit it dead on the fucking head. So yeah, honestly, it's almost a 10, but I'll go 9 for now. My Spy, I think only I saw this again.
Dude,
It's so
I
bad.
just want to say the trailer for this movie has one funny joke in it, and it's probably the only funny joke in the whole movie.
The trailer tells you exactly what you're in for. It's abysmal. It's so bad.
Did you laugh at the Shrek joke?
Remember that time Dave Bautista said he only wanted to be in good movies?
Star of the Escape Plan Hades.
That was a tough movie to get through, and the end just goes super dumb. Kind of like another movie we'll get to later in the list, but it devolves and just breaks apart by the end, and it's just terrible. I'd give it a 2. I enjoyed some things. Hamilton, Mud and I.
Hamilton!
All right, Mud. This is a spectacular movie. We're counting it as a movie.
It's a movie.
Definitely.
It was gonna come out in theaters. It's a movie.
Yeah, exactly.
Great performances by the whole cast. Beautiful songs, beautiful set design, beautiful stage choreography. Fucking 9 out of 10.
Hell fucking yes, I agree with everything you just said, and I bump that soundtrack all the time.
What's your favorite song?
I'll tell you what my favorite song is. It's fucking The Room Where It Happened. The best scenes.
So good.
It's
Yolgard.
the
I
Midgard.
watched 40 minutes of this film, turned it off, never turned it back on.
I finished it. Did you?
I didn't even fucking.
You didn't know about it at all?
So,
All right.
between
It
the
has
three of us, we've
Charlize
seen-
Theron and Henry Melling in it. That's
So,
all I got.
1.5 of us have watched it. So, yeah, I finished it. It is fine. It's just generic action. I like the premise. It's what sets it apart from most generic action movies, but at the end of the day, it is that. So I'm not impressed at all. Probably a 5.
Yeah. I'm not even going to rate it. I didn't watch the whole thing. Greyhound!
Greyhound, I didn't watch this.
Is this one of the ones where Tom Hanks is on a Tom Hanks is on a
Hanks
boat?
is a boat.
Tom Hanks
Yeah.
is a boat.
In World War II. Very good hidden enemy drama film about this guy trying to get this whole caravan of food, medical supplies, and soldiers across the Atlantic Ocean while being hunted by German U-boats. Very tense, minimalist scenes, or minimalist set pieces, I should say. They really don't leave like the bow of the ship, or not the bow. Fucking Christ, the place where you pilot a ship, whatever.
Helm.
The wheel.
Point is, very well done, very tense, good fucking movie. Tom Hanks kills it. 8 out of 10.
Hell yeah. Palm Springs.
Very funny.
Hilarious.
I did-
Again, it's just Groundhog Day though. That's my only issue with it. Is I have seen Groundhog Day. Therefore, this movie is not as good as it could be.
Yep, and I've also seen Try, and I have a sermon on that in our top 10
But
of the
I'd
year
say
video.
like an 8.
Yeah, I'd also, I'd go so far as to say a 9.
Yeah,
I'm
that's
going
fair.
with Jake. 9.
It's a great movie. Yes, God, yes.
I watched this. It's a movie about masturbation in the 90s. This girl discovers masturbation through AOL chat rooms.
What?
Yeah. Yeah, doesn't that sound hilarious?
Yeah.
It's not.
Oh, I thought it was better.
Why
And then
not?
she goes to like youth camp overnight, like a week-long excursion with her church. And hilarity ensues. She masturbates with the vibration settings on her fucking Nokia brick.
Nice.
That was hilarious. Then she there's this whole thing, like a running story about how this rumor spread that she ate some kid's asshole, which is just the grossest fucking thing, by the way. It's barely a movie. It's 78 minutes long.
Jesus.
Yeah, he's also in the movie because it's a movie about like religion. In that regard, it's funny because like everyone in the church is a hypocrite, and she realizes that because she's being ostracized for eating that kid's asshole, but not really, which is still disgusting. Like tossing salad is what she allegedly did to this boy, and it's like, really, of all the shit you guys could have done.
Fair enough. Out of 10.
Fucking like 4?
It's 78 minutes long.
78 minutes long and short as
4.
sin.
Okay. She Dies Tomorrow. I did see this. This movie is really interesting. And watching it, I understood the metaphor and what the director was going for in telling the story. It's technically about sharing when you have a panic attack or anxiety to someone else and how they react to it. And it does it in a really creative way. My problem is that the movie is so repetitive because it's just that concept of that quote infection or disease passing on the whole time. It's just someone explaining that they're going to die tomorrow, and then that infects someone else and that they think that, and over and over and over. And it's a really cool idea, but it just becomes so samey after a while that I couldn't get on board with it. So probably a 6. I did enjoy it at the end of the day. American Pickle.
This is the one where Seth Rogen's a pickle.
He is a pickle.
He's a pickle.
Ian and I have seen this. Mud has not.
I have.
Oh, you
No,
have? I
Mud
thought you
watched
did.
it.
Oh, you
Yeah.
didn't
I
make.
just didn't watch it in time for the review.
That's what that was. Okay, cool. So what'd you think? I'm curious.
I thought it was fine. It wasn't the greatest thing in the world.
I agree. It's a decent comedy. Some of it's pretty funny.
Decent comedy. I wasn't as down on like the long extended opening as you guys were, or I think Ian was.
Nah, the opening of the movie is confusing
I liked it. I think I liked it the most of the three of us.
because
I'm fine.
they
with
would have heard or seen that happen.
Yeah, but it's for comedic
It's a
effect.
comedy
It's like
film, Ian.
yeah,
But
it's it's
They also would have heard or seen their entire village be slaughtered.
it's
like,
also like a vignette.
pick
Like
a
it's
hill
not
to
supposed
die
to be
on
like
here, man.
taken like literally. It's
no,
just,
I know.
But
I think
either way,
that's-
I think the overall movie was really good. And
That's
really
like a
funny.
7.
Okay. I think it dragged towards the end.
I don't know if I gave it an 8 or a 9, but something positive along those lines. I'll stick with that score.
Definitely a 7.
I'm feeling like a 6.
Oh, okay. And we have Waiting for the Barbarians.
Yeah, waiting for this movie to fucking start. Jesus Christ.
Yeah. So Mud and I have seen it, and we both really didn't like it.
It is a chore.
It is a chore. It took me so much effort to
I
get through.
watched it in one sitting. I wanted to go out and fucking ride my motorcycle into traffic.
It's tough. It's tough to get through. And there's like one great scene with Robert Pattinson right in the middle of the movie, I believe. And that's about it.
And even then, I wouldn't say that movie that like brings the movie up or say like no.
No, it's just a positive
Like,
point at all.
It's like, yeah, I get it. You want to compliment it at all, but it's like, it's not even like you need to watch this Robert Pattinson scene. It's like, oh, he had one good scene. Go watch the fucking Lighthouse. Go watch The Devil All the Time.
Yes.
0.
Absolutely. 0 for Barbarians?
Yeah.
I would probably say 3.
0.
Project Power.
No one man should have Project Power. We did a review of this.
Yes, we
Yeah,
did.
it was pretty good. What did I give it? Like a 7 or something?
I don't remember.
It's something. It's I don't know. It's whatever I gave it. I wasn't really hot on it. I gave it a positive review, but like I had too many problems.
I also don't think I was hot on it. The final act's kind of boring.
Yeah,
It's not boring. It's bullshit.
I think they could have done a lot more with
But-
the premise too.
Yeah.
I'd like.
They
to
only
see
did a
some-
couple of things.
I'd like to see more power.
I agree.
I would rather this have been a miniseries, if I'm being honest.
Ooh, that would have been a good idea.
Develop it over time.
Yeah, so I'll just
That's
stick
fair.
with whatever I gave.
Like
it
a 6
already.
or a 7. I don't
Yeah.
know.
I think I gave it a 7, maybe.
Unhinged. I saw
You
this.
saw it in theaters.
This
Break
was
the fucking pandemic for this.
from Bloodshot to Unhinged.
Isn't this the Russell Crowe movie? that
Yes.
They insisted on releasing.
Yep. The day theaters opened, Unhinged came out. And from Bloodshot to Unhinged was my gap of not seeing a movie because theaters were down. And the day theaters came back, I was like, bet, I'm back. Unhinged. I was one of 2, 3 guys in the whole theater, which was awesome because of COVID and shit. But I'm really glad I got to see another movie.
I'm not this one though.
I'm slightly biased because it was my first movie-going experience again in a while, so I liked it more than I probably would have, but I still did not love it. I thought it does some interesting things with a lot of what they could have done with the premise. I like the idea that just this one fucking maniac just gets on the main character's ass, and it just happened to be the wrong day at the wrong time that she would flip him off in traffic or something along those lines. Because there's like an altercation at a traffic light, but this guy is just... Well, the title says it. He is unhinged, so he just goes after. I love that premise. They could have done it. The theme of this fucking year of movies is that they could have done more with it. Do you know what I mean? Like, there's so many movies that
Yeah.
like, wow, what a cool premise. Oh, that's all you're doing.
We just talked about one.
We just talked. We're just There's so much going on that like, I just feel like that's like the theme of this year.
Yep.
But I don't know. I'd probably give it like a 6 or 7. It's decent. I would watch it again. Tesla.
I watched
Is
this.
this the boring one?
I watched it as well. Mud, what do you
It's
think?
A little boring.
I think I really liked the anachronisms.
I liked that. I like how they were implemented because they only were implemented during like narration to take you out
Right.
of the film, but also takes you out of the film.
It takes you out a little bit. I wish
And-
they leaned in further. I wish they did more of that because it only
Yeah.
happens like 5 or 6 times.
Yeah, it doesn't happen enough. It's like, come on, give me this shit. Like, there's a scene where they're working out in like the Midwest in Tornado Alley, and like they're using like old 1910s, 1920s film tricks to make it look like they're on location when they're
Yeah.
not. And it's like, do that more, please.
Yeah, I even like the scene where Tesla had this like karaoke session or whatever the fuck happened. That was actually pretty interesting
I
to me.
genuinely don't remember what you're talking
Yeah,
about.
he sung into the camera as if he's like at a karaoke club, but with like a microphone, which didn't exist at the time. That was
Maybe that's kind of bringing something back, but
it was
Oh,
pretty
this is the
cool.
one that just looked awful.
It was. I think it
Yeah.
was pretty nice.
it was okay.
I needed more scenes like that.
I think if it leaned more into its own style, I think would have enjoyed it more because
Yeah.
it's for now.
Wow,
It's just,
could you say it could have done more?
Is that what was it like the past 10 movies we're talking about?
I liked it. I didn't super love it. I'd love to watch it with the current war from last year though.
Double down,
'Cause
baby.
They're kind of the same movie.
Yeah.
This is the one where I saw the trailer and went, this looks bad.
I remember that.
Yeah.
So I'd
Because
give it
Current
like
War
a-
looked at least interesting.
like a 5 or a 6.
I agree. 5 or 6. I'm leaning more 6.
Yeah.
Chemical Hearts. I watched this. This movie is a rom-com, I think, on Amazon.
Man, I said I think.
I think.
I know you said I think on Amazon, but it's a rom-com. I think.
Rom-com.
Kind of.
I
Maybe.
think it's a romantic comedy.
It's mostly
It's
a
a gothic
dram.
horror.
Gothic horror.
It's more rom than com. But it's a lot of a dram in there as well. And it's kind of like a tragic-ish story with this kind of bittersweet ending and element. It's a good movie. But the problem I'm having is that it takes so much from other good movies that are more well-known and do this better that it's like a pastiche or like a mosaic of like 10 other rom-coms that are better prior to this point. So I see why it's doing it what it does and how it's doing it, but I'd still give it like maybe like a 7 because it's okay, it's decent, but
Sure.
could have been a lot better. Tenet.
Tenet.
Oh boy,
More of like
Finally, we're at the Tenet
fucking
review.
banger.
this is like the inverse of a 2020 movie where it did so much with the premise, and that's the good part.
the whole movie's the premise, baby.
Yes.
Great film.
Yeah. I
No,
summed
I'm
up how I
kidding.
feel I couldn't really get invested in the characters a second time watching.
I'd say go watch our Tenet review, but that's still inverted, so it's not out yet.
Yeah,
9.
exactly. It'll
Yeah.
be out in the
This
past.
movie
9.
slaps so hard.
I'd also give it a 9 and then. And we have the New Mutants.
Good movie.
Yes.
It's kind of bad.
You're
Okay,
wrong.
all right.
We didn't review it.
We didn't
This
Talk
is the
about-
one we're gonna
No,
talk
we did
about.
talk.
Let's
We
get
did
into
review
it. Let's
You
get
weren't
into it.
there.
Let's get into it.
Yeah, we're gonna
This
fight.
is where
All
we
right.
talk about it.
So here's the thing. New Mutants, Mud and I did a review of it. We actually both
Saw it.
really liked it. We gave it,
I
I think,
really liked it. I think
8s?
8s.
We gave it
Wow, that's
yeah.
double my score.
Yeah. So, I don't know. You want to start what Ian didn't or what we
Yeah,
did?
I want to
Ian,
talk.
start.
Yeah.
We
Ian,
can
start.
explain why you're fucking wrong.
So, I don't like the opening of the movie. Her dad's not good at acting, and then she's also not good at acting. And then you get into the movie, and it feels like it's missing something. And you're like, all right, maybe as it goes on, it'll get that element that you get in the trailer, where it's supposed to be a horror and
That
like
was one of our big criticisms of this
any
film. Is it's not a horror
scary at
movie.
all.
Yeah.
This movie has no
straight
This movie misses its genre completely. I feel.
I don't know
There's
about completely.
No, there's no horror in this. I'm sorry.
I disagree.
The Slendermans, they're
Yeah.
pretty scary.
They're weird. They're not scary. It's just like weird looking thing.
Well, you finding it scary doesn't mean it's not a horror
No,
movie.
but I feel like it's just not a wholehearted effort. You can see that this movie was delayed. ADR. We talked about the ADR thing. There is no scene in this movie where they're like front facing almost. There's maybe like 10.
What?
Yeah, it's all back of people's head mud.
I won't dispute this.
I
'cause
just
watched
watched
it a while ago.
I did
but
as well.
I don't remember that.
There's the
I
scene
feel like
where
we would've
Maisie
remembered that.
There's a scene where Maisie Williams is talking and they cut off her sentence mid-sentence into another sentence, and the editing in this movie is awful.
I mean,
Like the editing's not good, some of the acting's not good. I didn't like Roberto or Donnie. Anya Taylor-Joy does a great job. Maisie
she
Williams is pretty good. I really like the Southern kid. I think he was one of the strongest of the characters.
Mhm.
But the movie's only an hour and a half long, tries to set up everything and just fails at setting up everything, man.
I mean,
It's just, I wanted to like it. I went into this movie, I'm like, it's going to be good. X-Men, Jake and Mud liked it, and I watched it, and I'm like, this sucks.
I don't know. I can't agree because first of all, it is a horror because she does take the demon bear concept and turns their horrors against them, and there's so many sequences throughout the movie that are that. But I guess I don't know. More importantly, it struck a chord with me because like you get all these characters in there that are from wildly different backgrounds, but they all have that same thing in common besides them being mutants, is that they're all like tragically struck and abducted by this organization. And I thought when you get that interplay and that character dynamic between them and you see them kind of evolve and grow together, I thought that was like actually a really interesting route to take this.
No, them evolving and growing together is one of the things I do like about the movie. Anya Taylor-Joy's character, where she goes from hating Danny to helping save her at the end. I feel like the movie's only an hour and a half long and it's rushed.
a little.
The pacing of the movie's just not good.
I could see that.
I
You
understand
know what I
that
mean?
criticism.
I
don't agree with it though. I thought it was paced fine.
No, it's way too quick. It's like, oh, I hate you. Oh, we hung out once. Oh, you're my friend now. It's like, okay, but where's the movie? There's a good movie in this 4 out of 10, but it's cut out and reshot and then delayed by 3 years and then
It was
cut
not
out again.
reshot. Josh Boone went on record and said that the cut that was released in theaters is the cut that he wanted, the original cut, before the reshoots, because there were no reshoots.
All I read was that reshoots wrapped on blank date. It was like,
No, they planned reshoots, but then delays, and then also Disney
acquisition.
Disney bought it and
Yeah.
they stopped everything.
All I know is this movie, it reminds me a lot of Justice League and how it's just
wow.
not. This
Yeah,
movie's
no.
not coherent. And it's too quick. It's cut down. This movie should have been like two and a half hours long, and it's just not.
I loved it. I don't know what to tell you, man. I mean,
Yeah,
I really
liked it.
enjoyed.
I think it's a poor excuse for an atmospheric horror that tries to do a lot with the characters, succeeds with some, fails with others, that has middling acting
Okay, well,
from a lot of the characters.
I really liked
can't
the
do it.
acting. I thought the main character did a great job. It was.
No, she's not good.
I think
I
she did
disagree.
fine.
I really liked Danny.
I didn't like her at all.
I think she did good.
She's very flat.
I love the romance between her and Maisie
See,
Williams.
That's a good character interaction, but at the same time, there's a good movie in there, but it's not what we were delivered with.
Yeah. I don't know. I think it works. It's better than the sum of its parts, and I do like the parts in that sum, if that makes any sense. I like the sequences, the horror sequences where like the priest brands her a second time.
Oh, that was brutal.
That's
It's a good
so
scene.
fucked up.
Yep.
Or the his fucking girlfriend on fire in the pool chasing him down. Like holy
also
shit.
the subtle things, like when Anya Taylor-Joy opens the door and there's the spray painted
Yeah.
Slenderman out there.
That's
I was
so
like,
fucking
holy
cool.
shit.
Oh my god.
8.
Yeah, I give it an 8.
Not the 4.
Yeah, it's a 4.
I can't get behind it. I watched it and I'm like, wow,
Fair enough.
gee.
We got a little bit of a throwdown, boys, but now time for not that, because only I saw this personal history of David Copperfield film.
It looked good.
It is really good. I don't like the book it's based on, and
You've read the book?
yeah, it was a kid's book. It had pictures in it. Of course, I read it.
Like recently? Or?
No, hell no. When I was a kid, I didn't like it then. I don't like it now. The problem is this movie is actually really faithful to a lot of the book. That it has the same problems as the book, and it's a little too goofy and campy for my tastes. But I will say this movie has some of the best scene transitions in any movie. Like, for example, there's a scene where I believe David himself is dreaming and imagining something, daydreaming it, in fact, and he's surrounded by these like whimsical things, and then a darkness looms over him, and he looks up, and this massive gloved hand is reaching right for him, and it's his dad pulling him out, and like, hey, dude, pay attention. It's really fucking cool. Every scene, almost every scene transitions in a really creative way like that, and they weave each scene into the next really visually well. That's like bolstering the score up. That, and you got like 10 fucking A-listers in there. You got House from House the Show.
Isn't
You
Tilda
got
Swinton in it?
Tilda Swinton as well.
Yep.
You got this cavalcade of people that every single one brings their A game, including the main character, Dev Patel. He is fantastic as David. I love this movie. It was just overall a little underwhelming as far as like the story, because it is just pretty much the book with a little bit of change. So I'd probably give it like an 8. It would have been a 9, but I love it so much. And next we have I'm Thinking of Ending Things.
Things. Another time for a fight, but the inverse.
Yeah. The movie's not stupid. You are stupid.
So I guess Mud and I can go first, since that's what we did for
I
Ian.
mean, we can go in a row because you didn't like it.
I did not like it, no.
I'm mixed on it. Ian really liked it.
It's a good movie.
So I didn't like it because while I understand what the movie was going for, in that they're all manifestations in the main character Jake's brain, I get that. I understand it.
In your brain.
In my brain. But it still needs to work as a movie. And I feel as a movie, plot lines are just dropped. Like, characters show up, say a thing, and leave, and are never brought up again, or they're not relevant to the story again. And I think, yes, the premise makes the movie, quote, quote, makes sense. But as a movie itself, it doesn't hold up to actual scrutiny or thought or logic or any of the conventional things that we judge a movie by. It doesn't work, in my opinion.
See, I noticed a lot of really little things in like the backgrounds of some of the scenes. And for me, this is a mystery more than anything, because you're wondering what the fuck's going on the whole time.
I mean, yeah, even the trailer sets
Yeah.
that up.
And you're sitting there and it's like, oh, that picture is the one that she showed. And like, you get all of these intricate little things. And it's just the mind of this weird incel guy. And the only problem I have with the movie is the end. It doesn't show anything but an extended dance and then like a play, and then the movie ends. And I'm like,
This
no,
movie,
then he dies, and then the movie ends.
This ending of the movie caused us all to look up the book's ending, which made so much
Which
more
is
sense.
so
We
good.
did have to look up the book's
Yep.
ending.
If the movie ended the way the book did, it might have been on my list.
It might have
like-
been a fucking 10.
Yeah, but the way the movie ends bothers me, The way the movie thinks of ending things pisses me off. Other than that, I have no problem with the movie up until the last like 15 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's really intricate. It makes you think a lot about your own life in these aspects. But at the same time, because we all have like that weird like living life inside your head kind of deal
Yeah.
Mhm.
going on,
Always.
and what things could have been if you did this or this or this, and that interests me a lot. Because that's what I did a lot when I was younger, and even now I still overthink everything because I'm a moron. But like, this movie had a lot of really good things going for it until the end. That's why I liked it so much, though. Because up until that last 15, 20 minutes, I'm like, I'm digging this. This is good.
Fair enough. I mean, I didn't really dig the movie as a whole. Once the second half starts to begin and you kind of go, okay, well, these little plot lines aren't paying off, and then you get more that don't. And it's like, well, I get it as the concept, as like, as a reference to what the movie is building to,
Mhm.
but the movie didn't really work for me. Mud, what do you think?
I think some scenes worked, some scenes didn't. I felt as though it is confusing, and you can kind of piece it together, but it doesn't give you enough context to get you there in the end. But I can still enjoy scenes from it and enjoy the acting, because it is a very well acted film.
Very
Oh,
true.
yeah.
There were scenes where I was just shaking my head and going, what the fuck is happening, especially towards the end. But overall, I didn't walk away from it with the same feelings of frustration that you had, Jake, or the same feelings of, yeah, I get this. It just kind of washed over me, and I was like, okay,
Okay.
that was something.
8.
3 wildly different perspectives. You give it an 8.
Yep.
I would give it 2, 3, somewhere around there.
5.
Okay. Wow. That's a good spectrum of the
I
board.
think this is one of the most mixed
Most.
individually we've ever been on a film. 'Cause
I think
usually
so.
it's 2-1.
I think so. I agree. Mulan, only I saw this piece of shit. I watched it on legalsite.com. It was in like 240p. If anything, it enhanced the experience because it was even funnier that everyone was like made of shitty pixels. But god damn, this movie made no fucking sense. Not to speak about I'm thinking of anything or anything, but god damn the logic of this movie. Mulan, the war scenes, people would do things that no one would do in a war. Like the trebuchet is shooting like this massive group of people, and then Mulan fires one arrow at the trebuchet guy area, and they all go, "There's one dude up there." It's Mulan. Oh, let's turn the entire trebuchet around from the army and try and hit this one dude hiding behind a rock 100 feet
Now
away.
the entire army's gonna charge.
Yeah, like what the fuck? None of it made any fucking sense. And then, of course, the magic elements were just when the villains can do so much and are so overpowered. What are they doing with an army?
Wait, there's magic?
Yeah,
There's magic. There's all
Is
kinds
there
of
magic in the original?
Nope.
No.
There's all kinds
Zero.
of fucking...
I don't even need to hear this.
One of the fucking villains can shapeshift into, I think, a bird and or animals or something. And also Mulan realizes that she is a wielder of the chi, which is not how actual chi in China works at all. Has been pointed out many times.
I watched a review of this film, and somebody described it as first-year college students doing a movie based on their fucking Chinese culture studies class.
Not even, because even those are accurate. Like, it's so funny to see an American blockbuster try and take these concepts of China, mostly the chi aspect.
And
that
then
angle.
there were I think my favorite part was all the controversy surrounding, because a bunch of Americans gave the movie a bunch of backlash because it's just a pandering to China film, and they, like, you know, the Uyghur people and all that stuff. And then China hated it.
It's funny because it's not even pandering to China at all. It's just a movie that has like Chinese like people and elements.
Well,
in it.
they filmed it in certain places, and then
Right,
the
but
main
that's-
actress barely. Yeah, there's a lot of
The
controversy.
main
surrounding
actress
it.
came down on China's side during the Hong Kong riots.
Fair, I'll get understandable, but like that's not Disney pandering to anybody. They're just making a movie. But my point is like that Mulan, the movie itself, the script makes so many fucking leaps in that. Like, not only do you not agree with those leaps, but it makes more off of those leaps, and it just keeps leapfrogging off itself. And it just by the halfway mark, you're like, what the fuck am I watching?
And you know what the weird issue is too? Is that when Disney live action remakes their things, normally it's the same shit but worse. This is completely different but worse.
Yeah. No, I agree completely. Usually they just make like a fucking shot for shot remake of everything they already did, This one, there's not even music, which I guess I appreciate because I would really be annoyed if they just had the same, different casting, the exact same songs, the exact same way again.
Lion King.
That would pretty much frustrate me, like Lion King.
Even Jungle Book, which I liked
Yep.
because they used it based off the book by Rudyard Kipling
So,
instead of the movie.
I will give Disney credit for doing something divergent from what's come before. However,
It's bad.
Still bad.
holy shit, it's fucking terrible. I give it like a 2. Cuties. Oh, dear God.
Jesus.
All
No,
right.
just
Give it a
0, 0, 0, 0,
zero,
0, 0,
We have
0.
a video of you soapboxing it.
I have a soapbox in our top 5 worst of the year. It's at the very end because it's the last thing we talk about. I'm not going to
Go
address it
watch
here.
that. We're
I'm
not
just
talking,
gonna
this
sum
movie
up-
doesn't deserve to be talked about anymore.
You're correct. I'm just going to say it commits the same crimes that it demonizes.
0.
Devil all the time.
Good film
No, I'm
talking
kidding.
about sin.
Oh, God.
Yeah,
It's so
Yeah.
fucking good. We've already talked ad length about this.
All
it is
3 of
so
us.
fucking
9.
great.
9.
The hardest
Solid
9
9.
that you can give.
Yup.
Holy shit, what a great film.
Great
Beautiful
movie.
acting. Go watch our review.
Broken Hearts Gallery. I watched this. Kind of sucked. I don't know. I shouldn't be too mean about it. I would give it a 6 at the end of the day because I did like what it did with the characters and I did like the story. It just became really cliched by the end. So 6. Antebellum.
Oh
We
my
all
God.
watched it.
All right.
All right, this is more conversation because I just watched this garbage.
Okay.
Um,
So let's start our opinions. I am mixed.
It's bad.
I'm mostly negative.
Okay, so we're all kind of not disagreeing then. I guess since I'm the most positive, being mixed. That's how that works. I don't know. I appreciate a lot of what it's doing. We're gonna talk about spoilers, by the way. I appreciate a lot of what it's doing. I do like the premise, and I like some of what they're doing with the premise, and I like how they're implementing some parts of this movie with the premise. But the way it was done, it's supposed to contrast, rather like
The literal antebellum South with modern day.
yeah, it's supposed to say that like racism is still alive and thriving, and it is, and we all
Hey,
acknowledge
fuck
that.
yeah, it is.
Absolutely. But
Yeah, the past doesn't die.
it does that by cutting back between supposedly slavery.
Barely cutting back.
Yeah, supposedly slavery times along with modern culture. And I understand what they're trying to do by saying that this is still here today. What I got from that is that, oh, wow, slavery used to be a thing. Now it's not. It's infinitely better now because there's no slavery. That's what the movie told me. It didn't intend to tell me that, but that's the message I got. So for me, it was like, oh, okay, well, she's going out to dinner with her friends. You couldn't do that in the past. That was improvement, I guess. I'm not saying it's perfect now, but my point is this movie gave me the wrong message. Do you know what I mean? Like it intended to tell me one thing, and it inadvertently or advertently, because that's how it was structured, told me a completely different. That it's just really insulting and annoying to think about.
My problem with this movie, my biggest problem, is that it just tells you the message flat out like 3 times. Like once at the beginning, it's like, oh, the past, blah blah blah. They say it again, but the logic falls apart right after you find out all of it's modern day.
Kinda, yeah.
All of the logic.
100%.
Ready? Jake, what exists? Satellites.
Yeah. Wait, what the fuck?
These are all kidnapped people,
Mhm.
all from presumably the area, like kidnapped from an area close. They would be helicopters exist, satellites exist, phone, like all of this shit exists.
Yeah, like a news copter or like a rescue
Dude.
copter hasn't flown overhead.
Or even a dude flying his own helicopter.
My point was, I mean, how much land could they actually own? You run a few miles, you're back in town.
Dude,
Mhm.
You know.
it is just bad. The acting and visuals, like the visual, there are some really, really striking scenes, and the acting is really good. But that doesn't save the entire script from not being good.
So I'm gonna jump on something. You said the minimal work done with cutting back and forth. There's no cutting back and forth.
They
It's
cut once.
all in the South, in the past. Then it's modern day, and then it cuts back and finishes up. It's not intercut, which I think is the biggest fucking sin of this movie. If you want to draw parallels between the antebellum South and modern day, cut back and forth and show how that scene is like this other scene, because it doesn't feel that way.
Yep.
And then all of the modern day stuff feels like it's act 1 of a movie, because in
It
All
is
Eyes
Act 1
Following,
of the movie.
It fucking is.
Yep.
Never goes anywhere. It's all just these weird interactions. Her friend's cringy as shit, by the way.
Yeah.
Like, she's just going off. Hotivities and all that. Like, she's fun, but like at the same time, I was like, you're a bit much.
Yeah.
It's just bad. And yeah, it's modern day, and that would have been a great twist, but
But modern day exists. Like
It's
it's
Get
so
Out.
hard to hide something like that in modern day.
You cannot hide something like
The
that.
government can't even hide keeping kids in cages now. And they're the government.
And it's supposed to be. Oh, and I don't like how the movie just fucking ends with no like real.
Oh my god,
explanation
the
for what
bad
happened.
fight scene with General Tecumseh Sherman, and then the fucking bad fight scene with Horse, and it's just so bland and.
Yeah. So my biggest problem is just they don't intercut the scenes. It's all the antebellum stuff.
Yep.
All the modern day stuff. And then the final act, and it's like
The first hour of this
confused.
movie feels like it doesn't matter.
It doesn't, and the second hour doesn't feel like it matters because
The movie
the
doesn't
second
matter.
hour feels like Act 1 of the film. The first hour focuses on Julia, who just kills herself,
Yep.
and I don't get to know Veronica at all
Yeah.
in that first act when
Yep.
she's just being all passive and shit.
I wish that we got inklings about it being modern day in the first half, because then maybe it would have mattered at all.
Cut back and forth. That's
Yep.
all this movie. Like
You
they
could have
not
showed us.
save it.
Do you remember after she went back to the past, quote quote, the drawing that her kid made was etched into the
Yeah,
thing? What if that was there earlier?
that would have confused. Yeah, it would have been awesome.
Mud
like-
did. And when I told you that the flowers had cotton in them, you didn't pick up on that. I saw it immediately. I went, wait a minute, is it like an ancestry thing? Because they were talking about the dreams, and then I went that direction. I'm like, yeah, this doesn't make sense anymore.
Yeah.
Like, the movie took a deep dive from like maybe a boring 6 or a 5 to like a 4 or a 3.
Yeah,
It's
I'd
tough.
give it like a 4.
I
I
would.
would also give it like a 4.
I would agree with your pacing issues. I think it spends way too much time in the wrong areas at the wrong times.
Yep.
I'm not saying that intercutting it would make it like a 10 out of 10.
No,
like,
But
would
it'd make it good.
It would make it more tolerable because it creates this mystery of like you're seeing these two women who look the exact same, living their lives, and you're like, what's gonna be the twist? And the twist is they're the same person.
Yep.
That would be awesome. And you see how like shit that happens in her modern life is foreshadowed in her past life, or her past life foreshadows her modern life.
But they're the
That's how you do a
same
mystery.
life.
But
Yep.
they just do it as 2 chunks.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
That is the biggest problem I have with this film.
Yep. It's really tough to get through.
But I will give Janelle Monáe credit. She was great.
Yeah, she acted amazingly.
Her and Eli, both really good.
Yep.
I'm gonna give it a 4.
Oh wow, 4s across the board.
Oh, tight. We're so
Mix
different
all
on
of
this.
us. This is bad.
Yep. I'm gonna go with Enola Holmes and say that only I and
watched it.
Mud have watched it. All right, so this movie is terrible. What's your
I
take?
liked it a lot.
All right, let's get into it.
I like Henry Cavill.
You want to go first or should I?
You can go first.
You talk first. I talk first. I'll go first. All right. I think pretty much everything here, A, has been done in other movies, but better. B, is really cringy to watch. All the meta shit, I couldn't tolerate that. Everything where
Whoa, that's normally my thing.
she looks right into the camera and says like, haha, how am I going to get myself out of this one, Scoob, or whatever the fuck she said. I don't even get
That's not how she does it at all.
She says that.
I think she says that verbatim.
Not.
It's really frustrating to see. I really did not enjoy the style. I did not enjoy the characters. I enjoyed Henry Cavill for the 5 minutes he was in it.
Oh.
I enjoyed no, that's about it.
Yeah, I enjoyed this film. I enjoyed its style. I enjoyed its characters. I enjoyed Henry Cavill for about the 5 minutes it's in it. I enjoyed the plot twists because there's more than one. I didn't enjoy everything, obviously. I did find a couple scenes just a bit annoying, but like, I don't know. The movie worked for me. I was enjoyed. I was never bored. I was never angry.
Mm-hmm.
It just was a good time for me to watch, you know?
Also, does it imply that Sherlock Holmes' detective sense is like a genetic thing, or
No,
is she
it's
just
just
happened to
they're both-
also be a very good detective while also being
She
his
was
sister?
raised by her mother who trained her to be super smart, just
so,
like Sherlock.
so really the credit in this universe is to the mother of both of them.
yeah.
Oh yeah.
Okay. All right.
That's the thing I don't fucking like is the mother plot just gets
Yeah.
dropped.
She just kind of shows up?
No, she disappears, and then they never fucking talk about it.
Yeah.
Like, Enola Hard decides, okay, I need to put my story on pause, and then the mother comes back in like the last 2 minutes and is like, where the fuck were you?
Right. That was a big problem I had. I fucking forgot about
That's
that
my
shit.
biggest
Holy
problem
shit.
is the mother just straight up fucking disappears. Like, that's the genesis of the film is she's going to find her mom.
Yes.
And then she doesn't find her mom, and then her mom just fucking shows up, and it's like, was this the main plot or not?
And
Because
it's
the main plot for the first 40 minutes.
It's
and then
weird
it's not.
because before the mom shows up at the end, the story concludes, and it's as if the filmmakers like fucking forgot. Oh yeah, this has to be about her mom because that's how we started this story. Oh shit, let's just throw her in there at the end and shoot this really quick scene. I don't fucking know.
Yeah, no, it's like they got amnesia making this film and forgot what the movie was supposed
Yeah.
to be about. But I don't hate what the movie ended up being about.
I do 2.
Yeah, like an 8.
All right, hey, add it together. We had a 10 out of 10 movie. Here we talk. Another round.
I saw this one. It's about drinking in Deutschland or the lowlands.
It's called Druck.
It's called
Drunk.
Druck, which is drunk. Mads Mikkelsen stars as an alcoholic. There's a lot more to this movie. I watched this very recently, like at the last second, and it ended up being one of my favorite films of the year. It's just a really good character piece about these guys going through a midlife crisis who just decide to start drinking just a little bit every day to make life easier, numb the pain, make themselves more sociable, and just the dangers of addiction as they slowly are like, all right, let's up the dosage. Let's just see how much we can take, you know? And like they're like, we're not alcoholics, they're fucking alcoholics. And it's just a fun, enjoyable film. There's some really good scenes of him talking to his like students because he's a teacher, and him like relearning how to teach and recapturing that passion. You know, like another one of them is a gym teacher, and he's teaching soccer, and we see how he like, you know, teaches the kids and how it improves their lives, only temporarily, and then very much destroys their lives.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting.
So I'd give it a 9.
Okay. Well, I'd give this one a fucking 9 too. It's Trial of Chicago 7.
9.
Let's
9.
get out of here. Hell yeah. Kajillionaire. Mud and I have seen it. We've talked about it already. But this movie fucking slaps. I'd give it a 9.
Also a 9.
I love
for
the
the last
themes.
2 movies or the last 3 movies. Go check out our top 10 of the year for longer reviews.
Vampires versus the Bronx.
I saw this one. It's about gentrification, but the white people are vampires.
Really?
Yeah.
I didn't even get that from the trailers.
I didn't even watch the trailers. I was just like, that sounds like a fun time.
Was
I
it?
saw Yeah, it was actually. It's a good movie.
Okay.
It's about these kids. They live in the Bronx, and like there's this big real estate company that keeps buying out all of the property there, and then they kill the people who own it.
That's just the Goonies. Well, not the end part, but that's Goonies.
But it's about about gentrification, but like it's vampires doing it.
Okay.
But like the metaphor is, you know, vampires gentrification.
Sure.
Which is actually kind of interesting. They add some cool things about like vampire lore and stuff into this movie to modernize it. They make like vampires immune to like being recorded on film, which I guess you can call bullshit on, but I was like, that's actually a good idea because glass mirrors. I don't know.
Mhm.
I was willing to suspend disbelief because vampires are always kind of fucky.
Fair enough.
It's just a fun little film. You know, I'd give it like a 7.
Hell yeah. Mud, get ready to talk just again alone because we have Save Yourselves.
Wow, what a
Exclamation
terrible
point.
movie. So it's about millennials retreating to the woods to try and unplug themselves, which I respect because I get that, you know, being just encumbered with technology. It's this couple, they're in their 30s and they go to like a cabin in the woods to just relax. This movie simultaneously treats them with respect and no respect because like they're smart but they're dumb. Like I think one of the lines they have is they're like, is there ethanol in gasoline? How do you fucking not know that? Like that's most of what gas is.
Yeah.
You know? And like, oh, there's a scene where like they need to defend themselves from the aliens because there's an alien invasion while they're out of town. So they
The
miss
what?
it. Yeah, that's why it's called Save Yourselves. So they miss it. They miss the alien invasion. And they're like, oh, we should get a gun to protect ourselves. And the boy's like, oh, well, you know, the amount of risk there is for a gun to go off in this house and kill one of us. And it's like, there's an alien invasion, bro. Get the fucking gun out, you piece of ass. And then they find a baby and they have to raise the baby. And oh, millennials raising babies. But that's also like the end of the film. I checked the runtime of this film at one point. It's like an hour and 20 minutes or something, hour 30. And I was like, is this movie going to start soon? It was an hour and 10 minutes in. And I was like, where the fuck did this all go?
Holy shit.
As much as I've ragged on it, I actually like the beginning, like the first act where it's actually just them. It's a slow burn of them just like rekindling their romance. Like the girl's talking to him and she's like, you know, you need to open up to me. And he's like, fuck off. And then, you know, they could have played that up as the tension and paid that off at the very end. But like the next scene, he's like, you know what? You're right. Let's do this. And I was like, hey, yeah, positive message about communication with your partner and cool, good shit like that.
Yeah.
And then the rest of the movie fucking happens. And the movie just fucking ends. They get kidnapped because they get their cell phones back, which is fucking insulting. They're like, oh, check the news, check Twitter, check Facebook, see what's going on. And then they just like get absorbed into a bubble and yote into space. I'm not even kidding.
Out of 10.
1.
Wow. That sounds
Sounds
like a
great.
dumpster fire. Possessor is what I saw. This is a movie by Brandon Cronenberg, famed son of him. This is also body horror slightly. It's about an assassin that uses this weird tech to
Shotgun arm.
no, weirder, to possess the body of a person close to a target so that they can kill the target and then kill themselves, and it looks like a murder-suicide.
Interesting.
Yeah, it's
That
actually
sounds fucking awesome.
it is fucking awesome. Most of it is fucking awesome. Kind of gets a little boring throughout. Like it feels like they
How do you make that concept boring?
well only sometimes because what happens is the vessel that she possesses starts to fight back before he can kill his own like girlfriend or something like that,
Mhm.
and she, the main character, the girl possessing the people, she is going through her own personal struggles with like, can I control them? Can I not? Is this whatever? And then she starts to lose her grip on him, and then he starts to hunt her down. It actually gets really, really interesting.
That sounds amazing.
It is. It's
Sounds
probably
pretty
fucking
good.
great. It only gets boring like through some of the sequences where just characters are sitting and monologuing. I'm like, get back to the good shit, please. But then they get to the good shit, and it gets pretty good. I'd give this like a fucking 8. I really like this movie. Yeah, and totally under control.
Oh, I wish I watched this.
You didn't?
No.
Only I have. I'll keep it brief because it's a documentary. It's not like there's a big story here. But holy shit, is there?
Not a big story. Only
I was
about
about
the
to say,
bumbling of
holy
the
shit,
universe.
is there a story here? Fuck, this is incredible. I don't even want to say anything about it. Just go watch it. It just please, no matter who you are or where you live, go watch it. It's relevant. Holy fuck.
Rating.
I don't know, 8 or 9 because documentaries might be biased.
I don't know, like a 3.
It's like a 2. Love and Monsters.
Hey, this one's me. I saw this movie. It's a romantic comedy about this guy trying to navigate Fallout in order to find his girlfriend. It's literally a Fallout video game. There's giant monsters, homemade weapons, shit like that. It's also Zombieland with the people that he interacts with, and it's just really good. It's a very fun time. It's a muted movie. Like, it could have been over the top and overblown and overacted and shit like that, but like they play it just straight enough that it's enjoyable, and the effects are good. The effects are really good because it's like giant monsters, and you'd expect like, ooh, cheap CGI. No, the CGI is pretty good. There's some really good emotional moments. Like, so every vault, I'm just gonna use Fallout terms. Every vault has like a robot in it that you can talk to, but they're all broken. And then while he's out in the world, he runs into one that works, and he has a conversation with her, and he's like, this is weird because like whenever I've talked to you, you can't talk back because I'm just talking to a dead android. And she talks to him, and she shows him like photos of his parents who died in the Fallout, and he's like emotional. And there's a lot more heart to this film than you expect. I'd give it like an 8 out of 10.
Nice. That's
Yeah.
good stuff. I wasn't excited for it at all. Good to know it's actually a good movie.
Yeah, I liked it.
Over the Moon. I saw this in the background, but I saw it enough to like review it. So I'm not. It's not like bullshitting. I really liked the message. It was like on par with like a Disney or a Pixar movie. One
You're gonna die.
subset of the other. No, not you're gonna die. Existential, kill yourself, or whatever the fuck.
Pixar in particular.
Very Pixar.
Pixar, hey, I'm a fork and my life means nothing.
There was actually a little bit of that, which is actually kind of funny.
And the
But
physical embodiment of sadness.
I would have given it like an 8 or a 9, but for some reason, and it might just be me, but the animation looked really weird. Like, it was almost a Pixar or almost like Big Hero 6 I can reference,
Yeah.
but it felt really glossy, like everyone was made of Play-Doh, even though it was like CG animated. And it just, I don't know, I couldn't get on board with the style. It was a Netflix animation film. Did not know that subset existed.
Yeah. Netflix has animation.
So yeah, I don't know, like a 7. Borat subsequent movie film.
9.
Very
That's
nice.
Very nice. Good film,
9.
yes.
8 or 9, I don't know.
What
But
is
it's-
more better, this movie or anything else?
I'd give it a 10 just for Rudy Giuliani.
Several films.
Fucking
This year
crazy.
alone.
No films.
Synchronic. This movie I want to watch again so bad. I've only seen it once. It is so fucking good. It is pretty much like Tenet, but less confusing. So basically, it's this street drug, and people don't know why people keep dying in these weird ways because of the street drug, but like some person is like dead because of this venomous snake bite, even though snakes don't live in this area for the past like 100 years. What happens is they take a pill, and depending on what physical location they're in, they'll go back to a different period in time. And
That's awesome.
if for 7 minutes, they'll be in that period. So the main character, Anthony Mackie, he's a cop. He's black. It's relevant. Goes back to random times, and sometimes they persecute him, which is kind of fucking funny. But yeah, so he stands in different spots in his house, in his room. The crux of the movie is that his partner, played by Jamie Dornan, his daughter is missing, who's taken the drug and gone missing. So Anthony Mackie, because Jamie Dornan's kind of lost hope and doesn't really know what to do, Anthony Mackie buys like pretty much a fuckload of these drugs.
Trying to just go back to the right
Just
time.
goes to all these random times. He goes to Conquistador times. He goes to Ice Age with another human with like a spear, Jason, and it's fucking cool. It's cool as
Awesome.
shit.
I'm gonna watch this film now.
It's
It
so
sounds
good.
like Project Power and Tenet mixed together.
Yeah.
It kind of is. Honestly, I was leaning like 8 or 9. Fuck it, I'll just give it a 9. But I wanted to watch it again before giving it an even higher score. I really liked it, and I'm really disappointed it didn't make my top 10. It was
watch
almost
this
an
now.
honorable mention.
I'm gonna watch this now.
I wish the ending was a little bit more satisfying. The ending kind of just leaves you. It's kind of ambiguous that like I'm not gonna say what it is. I want you guys to watch it, but it's so fucking good, and it almost became like a top 10 movie for me of the year. So yeah, Let Him Go. This movie I watched simply because it had Superman's parents from Man of Steel play a couple who had a child, which is, I don't know, that's funny to me.
That is
Diane
funny.
Lane and-
Kevin Costner, yep.
Wow.
Them together as like
I saw the trailer for that. I'm like, aren't those Superman's
I
parents?
saw a poster for it, and I
Yeah.
think somebody commented, "Wait, aren't those Superman's parents?"
dude, they live in a barn. It's great. It's fucking the same shit. And
Let him go. He's got to go blow up Metropolis.
Yeah, let him go into the tornado.
So basically, their grandkid is living with
The grandkid Brightburn.
no abusive domestic household where the boyfriend isn't related to the family. He's just the boyfriend of someone who is related to the family. And I think there's a death in there. I don't know. It's kind of boring, but it does get some dramatic beats across really well. I just wish it had more of them and less of the weird shit. I'd probably go 5.
Okay.
Don't really know why I watched it other than the joke. Hillbilly Elegy. Did you guys see this?
No.
No, I
I
just.
heard it was awful.
It was
Awful.
fine.
Oh.
I will give it a pass. I'll probably give it a 7 out of 10. I liked most of what it did. I actually really did like the themes and like how, generational reflection over like this carries over into your life. No matter what you try and do, you're not going to avoid it, or can you avoid it? And I think that really does come across in an interesting way. And I like the main character struggle quite a lot. I'd probably give it a 7. I don't know why everyone. I know why, because it's weird. But yeah, Mank.
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 We got Mank, baby.
All right, I want to talk about Mank.
You didn't watch it.
But Jake and Mud have been talking about Mank for weeks, like 2 weeks now. Jake watched the first half of Mank 2 weeks ago, and I think he finished it yesterday.
I've started this movie like 5 or 6 times.
And Mud watched it all in one sitting. And was like, "Oh, it's good." And Jake was like, "Mank suck."
I can't get through it. It's so fucking bad.
It's so.
It's been one of the most
good.
interesting things that I've
The
experienced.
movie's not bad. You're bad.
I am bad.
One of the best things I've experienced is Mud and Jake talking about Mank, and he goes, "Jake, you finished Mank?" And Jake goes, "I restarted it and then got halfway through again and then stopped again."
Oh my god.
It's so fucking funny.
I really liked this movie. It's a good character piece about this guy and just the life experiences he has and how he ultimately writes Citizen Kane based on his own life, even if it's about somebody else.
I agree. I just don't think the movie was an interesting way to tell that story. I think the movie, by idolizing the Citizen Kane style of black and white with the dramatic, over-the-top camera movements and elements and like blah, 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 voice, I feel like it just...
That's how people talked back
Yeah,
then.
but not like radio style to each other in conversation all the fucking time.
No,
like,
I liked that.
to me, it felt like a fan film. It felt like a group of like film students tried to make a film. It really didn't.
Fincher, buddy.
It is Fincher, and it's really weird to me because I love Fincher's other work.
Fincher's great, and this movie's great.
I will say this though, what makes the movie a 5 out of 10 instead of a bad score? Gary motherfucking Oldman.
Gary
Holy
Oldman
shit.
is
Carries
always
this
good
film
in
as
everything.
Mank.
This is the next Darkest Hour, where that's not a very good movie, but holy shit, Gary Oldman deserved the Oscar for it. That was
The
so good.
hypothetical Oscar that
Yeah.
he hasn't even been nominated for.
Exactly.
Yeah, you're right. He is great in this 9 out of 10 film.
Yep.
Shut your mouth.
Yeah. It kind of missed the Mank for me.
Hit the Mank for me.
The Ride. This is on Amazon for free.
What does it say with him?
Because he's the main guy.
He's Ludacris is in it. I
Is
think.
Anthony Mackie also in it?
Nope.
No, we've been
No.
over
I
this,
thought
like,
it was Anthony
18
Mackie. It was
No,
just
that's the
Ludacris.
other ride.
Yeah, it's The Ride with Anthony Mackie. Look.
Is this the one where they BMX?
No, so this is
Yeah,
the
it's
one.
the BMX one.
Let me get into it, damn it. Only I've seen this one. So this kid is a neo-Nazi. He was kind of bullied and forced into being a neo-Nazi as a small child. And he becomes an orphan for some reason. He's in the system. He's in juvie. He's in blah, 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 blah. And basically Ludacris and his wife, it's a mixed relationship, they adopt him. And, oh boy. So the whole movie, up to that point, I want to say like the 40, 45, 50 minutes of the movie where him and Ludacris just don't get along, obviously, for very obvious reasons.
Wonder why.
Same.
And Ludacris is very persistently pacifist, very like, hey, look, I still love you. And he's trying to show him that, like, compassion conquers fear and prejudice and stuff like that. And I was like, wow, this is kind of a boring movie. I still don't know why it's called The Ride. And then, so before I get there, so then some neo-Nazi bully characters from his past kind of find him and kind of bully him, and basically he's reinforcing his Nazi beliefs. But then this is when it happens. So fucking he picks up a BMX bike and he rides the bike and he likes BMXing. And then Ludacris is like, hey, I also like BMXing. So I too will take up a bike with you and BMX with you. And he's like, I'm very high key racist, but sure. And they go to this bike park, the skate park, to BMX their bikes. And they have a good time, father-son style. And he's like, wow, did you see me do that BMX? And he's like, you bet you. Look at me doing my BMX. Oh, well, I love your BMX, dude.
Can I just say, my favorite part of this is you told us you were watching this and you were complaining about how boring it is. And I was like, what movie is this? And you said The Ride with Ludacris. It's about him adopting a neo-Nazi. To which I said, wait, isn't that movie about BMX bikes or something? And you went, no. And then like 5 minutes later, you were like, Mud, you were right. It's about
my
BMX.
God. It's very about BMX. It doesn't let you know.
I saw that trailer forever ago.
I never saw it.
You brought it up, and I was like, yeah, wait, isn't that movie about like BMX bike racing or something?
I missed the trailer, so I went in cold, and I just thought it was a boring.
My favorite part is you were like, no, and then like 5 minutes later, you were like,
yo, so fucking everything post BMX, like that boom of BMX energy that makes them bond father-son style, it gets very Hallmark. It gets very like not Hallmark like romance style, but very sappy kind of Disney
Hallmark,
Channel.
squeaky clean, nothing is wrong, everything's perfect. Everyone learns to love themselves through the power of magic and BMX biking.
Pretty much. And then like so he enters this competition, or he wants to enter this competition, and he has to be a BMX really good for this guy to be the top 3 BMX guys to be in the BMX team. And he does it. And while riding, he thinks back to his abusive past while in the air and throws the bike, because that's what we all do when we ride bikes. And he throws the bike and falls over, and he's like,
from a rose play.
Yeah. Oh, damn. Oh, no, you can't be a BMX guy. I guess you fell off on your bike that one time you thought about your tragic past. And he's like, please, no, let me.
This is all I have. Otherwise, I'll be a Nazi again.
Yep, exactly. So it follows the cookie cutter formula of he gets over his thing like Rocky style, and he does the BMX thing, and he wins.
Oh, does he fight neo-Nazis on Christmas?
No, he doesn't fight neo-Nazis, but Ludacris defends him, and then when they attack Ludacris because he's a black guy, he attacks them. The kid attacks the bullies. And it shows that I care more about you than being a racist, Ludacris. I love you.
I care more about BMX than racism.
Yeah. So BMX cures racism in that sense. And then, of course, he wins the BMX thing, and he gets all the love and glory, and he gets a girlfriend, kind of, which is weird because he still has a Nazi swastika tattooed on his head, but whatever.
Oh, is he Kevin James?
He's basically Kevin James. It's great.
That's very funny.
So, yeah.
2 movies with Nazis with swastikas on their head.
Ironically, maybe even a 10. I enjoyed the fuck out of this movie, but as a movie, no, this is like a fucking 3. So, yeah, that was a good time this year. The Lego Star Wars Holiday Special.
I also watched this. It's really not a movie.
It's not. It's on this list as like kind of like a throwaway, but I don't know.
Funny.
I enjoyed it.
I
had a good time.
Rose is in it more than she was in episode 9.
You're correct.
Wow, and it at all?
Run. I think only I've seen this one.
Yeah.
This one is an awesome fucking movie. You can tell it was my number 10 of the year. It was the second best movie about someone in their household who realizes something is wrong. So this movie is fantastic, and like I said during the other video, I'm not going to say much about it because I want people who listen to this to
get curious and go watch
Get curious and go watch it and don't know much about it going cold like I did with The Ride with hit rapper Ludacris. And Jiu-Jitsu is up next.
Oh, Lord.
This movie only I watched again. Gonna restate my opinions. Tony Ya is the only reason I watched it. He dies in half hour in. Movie sucks after that point. Then he comes back and fights him, and I'm like, yay, you still didn't save the movie, though. Fucking 1 or 2 out of 10 with great action scenes. Like, let me just be clear.
Tony Ya action scene.
Extraction levels of great action with bad movie. It's so good. Movie trailer's a love story. This is a documentary that's like 80 minutes, kind of, that explores the relationship between trailers and the audience that watches them, and it's really interesting. I don't know, 7. Ma Rainey's Black Bottom.
I think it's time for me and Ian.
Yeah, it is.
Shut the fuck up, Jacob.
This movie is good.
It's very good.
The only really big issue I have is a couple scenes, and then the end, it just ends.
It does just end, and it's a little short.
It's way too short. I think it needs like 20 more minutes.
I can stand another 20 minutes, but the acting makes this movie great.
Oh, 100%. That's the only reason it's up so high, man.
Oh, yeah.
This
rest
movie
in peace,
is
Chadwick.
so well acted. Viola Davis, too.
Oh, she's great.
I didn't realize it was her until 15-ish minutes after you meet Ma for the first time, and I'm like,
oh yeah,
with
all the makeup and the fake gold
that's
teeth.
Viola Davis's eyes.
Yeah,
that's Viola Davis.
She's in it?
It's her eyes. Yeah,
she's Ma Rainey.
Oh wow,
yeah.
I didn't know that.
She looks completely different.
Her and Chadwick kill it.
Yep, and all of them band guys are also
Oh
fantastic.
yeah, in the supporting characters.
Like everybody's so good. I'd say maybe an 8, like between a 7 and 8.
9.
All right.
I
want to
got
watch
one
it.
more thing.
Godmothered. This is a movie that I watched. It's fine. It's exactly what you think
The
it's gonna
title
be.
is the worst.
It's like if you watch the trailer or just look at the poster at all, it's exactly what you're in for with no surprises. So I don't know. 5. Wonder Woman 1984. So here we go. We already have a big review on the channel about this at this
Yeah,
point.
you should probably go watch it.
Well, you should just go watch the movie. I will just sum up my feelings and just say, hey, this movie is also a 7. It's the reason it's great is for different reasons than the first one is great, but the reasons it's also bad are the different reasons, and the first one's also kind of bad.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a lot of mixed in there, but it equates to the same score in my opinion, and it's on par with the last one.
It's good.
I understand why people don't like it. I have similar opinions to a lot of the main criticisms, but I think the theme work brings it up enough where it's still a good movie. So
I really
7.
liked it. 7 out of 10.
The other one we watched on the same day, Soul.
Great.
Fucking banger.
More like 9. Best
More like 9.
fucking banger.
9. 9
Honestly-
out of 10. Also have a review.
Yeah.
And with that, ladies, gentlemen, and all those in between, we have reached the end of everything we saw in the year 2020. What did you guys watch? Let us know in the comments below, and we'll be back next year for more hot quality content.
Tell us what you feel about Antebellum and New Mutants, because apparently those are fucking very mixed
And
movies.
I'm thinking of ending things. And
Yeah.
Mank.
No, man,
Definitely not Mank.
Definitely Mank. Reinforced my opinion.